I'd like to call the Lake Forest City Council meeting to order of September the 18th, 2012. Roll call. All 5 council members are present. City Attorney, is there anything to report from closed session?
There was no reportable action taken there.
Thank you. We have Boy Scout Troop number 628 is going to come forth and lead us in the pledge. But before you come forth, Councilmember Peter Hersol has asked to make a statement, and I've given him permission to do that first, and then I will call you forward.
Just very quickly, it's great to have the Boy Scouts here and everybody here because actually yesterday was an extremely historic day for the United States of America. 226 years ago, the Constitution of this country was signed and released for ratification. So that really set in motion the republic that we have here today. And in the Pledge of Allegiance, you talk about pledging allegiance to the republic, and that goes to the Constitution. Then 150 years ago, September 17th, that same day, there was a battle called Antietam during the Civil War. 21,000 casualties occurred in 12 hours to try to see whether our Constitution was going to survive that war. So this is actually a very historic occasion. It's great to have the Boy Scouts here.
Now I will call the Boy Scouts forward to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Is Dylan here? He's my friend. Pull that mic down. You can just pull the mic down till you reach up high, pull it down. Is the light on? Yeah. Okay.
Will the audience please rise? Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Color guard, prepare to post the colors. Color guard, post the colors. All those in uniform salute, and those who are not, right hand over your heart. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard, regroup. Color guard, retreat. Audience at ease.
Very good. Is Jessica here? Oh, she was hid behind someone. I'm going to call Jessica up. We have some presentation. You should be on the green form. I'll be down there.
Good evening, everyone. We are recognizing the Shop in Manly Forest Week participants this year. Shop in Manly Forest Week was launched last year as a way to help promote all of our businesses and encourage the community to keep tax dollars local here in the community. This year we had over 220 businesses participate with some great offers and promotions. So we were delighted to have all that participation. One unique component this year for Shopping Down Lake Forest Week was the Taste of Lake Forest. We had over 1,000 community members attend that event and sample the delicious food from over 20 Lake Forest restaurants. At the event, the attendees were also able to vote for their favorite. And tonight, we would like to recognize the top 3 Lake Forest restaurants that were voted on that day. Without further ado, we have first place Lucille Smokehouse Barbecue. I'm going to take a group picture so you can send it. Second place goes to Outback Steakhouse. And third place goes to Miguel's California Mexican Cucina. I don't believe they were able to join us tonight, but we do appreciate their
Mary, you can come up and get a picture if you desire. Do you have film here? Come on, Patch. So very nice. There's one little note that Jessica forgot to put in there is that it was extremely, extremely, extremely hot, and people still came abundantly, right? So thank you, too.
Okay, next we'll have Mayor. Next, we'll recognize the sponsors. So this year, as I mentioned, we had over 220 businesses participate, and we had 20 sponsors of Shop and Dine Forest Week, which was remarkable. And it was because of their generous contributions and their relief in the Lake Forest community that we were able to fully advertise the program to the community and mail the coupon booklet to approximately 30,000 Lake Forest addresses. So we want to thank them for their exceptional support of the community. So like I said, there were 20 sponsors altogether. One of our platinum sponsors, Marinella School of Beauty. And next we have Playlist 92.7. I believe they weren't able to attend tonight. And a couple other platinum sponsors that were unable to join us were Innovage, Seattle's Best Coffee, and The Orchard. Next, our gold sponsors, we have Spectrum Specialties and Awards. And the PM Group. One other gold sponsor, we have Walmart here with us tonight.
We're going to have to get behind the podium. You're not going to be able to get the picture again. Walmart? I just got through cutting a ribbon for you.
And lastly, our silver sponsors. If we can invite Sister to come up front. And the sister and the silver sponsors unable to join us tonight were John Paulo Salon and Patinos.
Maybe I can real ugly, so I had to stop.
And lastly, the city would like to recognize Layla Ismani. She was an intern during Chauvin Lake Forest Week. She's a Lake Forest resident, a high school student, and Layla first came to a council meeting a few months back, and she publicly expressed her desire to intern for the city. She was exceptional, really contributed to Chauvin Lake Forest Week, and always had a great positive attitude.
Anybody else? Oh, here we go. One more. We're going to see this on the blog, the pads, Twitter, all that stuff. Did you get it? I don't. Yeah. Come on. Through? This is where you have to I don't hear you singing.
We're trying to.
Peter, you were supposed to lead them.
I don't want to embarrass anybody.
Oh, this. Uh-oh. We're going to have to take a quick pause. Get that back up. We'll hold that there. Okay. Presentation. On your agenda, you should see report from student liaison. Are student liaison here? Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jens Personius, and I am this year's student representative from El Toro High School.
Congratulations!
El Toro had a great summer this year, full of fun, sun, and plenty of beach. Our Chargers traveled far and wide to their favorite vacation spots, college visits, and summer camps. Our fall sports hit the season running these past few weeks, starting with summer training camps. El Toro football had an amazing start to a new season, emerging victorious by a fair margin over Huntington Beach, Clovis, Canyon, and Palos Verdes, putting them 4-0 going into this year's season. El Toro ASB had a very busy summer this year, planning our earliest ever homecoming, with the theme Dancing Late in the Golden State and set for the 29th of September. We are proud to say that we are right on schedule and finished all the necessary work and preparations before the first day of school. In addition, we brought in our new principal, Ms. Terry Gussif, and our new Chargers earlier this month for new student orientation and gave our newcomers a warm welcome to El Toro High School. However, El Toro ASB's biggest achievement this summer was winning the Darrell Stillwagon Award for Spirit and Leadership at this summer's OCL camp at UC Santa Barbara. This is clear evidence of how great this coming year will be. As summer wrapped up, students rushed to finish up their summer homework and got ready for the first day of school. That first day went off without a hitch, with Chargers welcoming the new year, new classes, new teachers, and familiar faces with excitement. We are all ecstatic for this coming year, and as always, go Chargers.
Yes. Thank you. Very good.
We do have some public speakers this evening.
Okay. Just before I let you call them up, I'm going to make this little speech. Every so often I like to read it to make sure I get it correct. So listen up. I'm not going to read it but one time. I'm not going to read it when we go through the other agendas. I'm reading it at the beginning. I can say that it still applies, okay? At this time, members of the public may address the City Council regarding any items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. No action may be taken on items not listed on the agenda unless authorized by law. Comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person and an overhaul time limit of 30 minutes for the public comment portion of the agenda. We can choose to do some more afterwards, but we hope you get it all in. Any person wishing to address the City Council on any matter, whether or not it appears on this agenda, is requested to complete a request to speak from available at the door, right, this door, not the front door. There's still a table over there with them in there. The complete form is to be subject to the city clerk's prior to individual being heard. But Deborah Rose, would you raise your hand? That's who you give your form to. Whenever possible, lengthy testimony should be presented to the City Council in writing, 8 copies, and only pertinent points presented orally. Additionally, a request to register written comments form is available at the agenda public review counter over there again, isn't it? Okay. Now, I'm going to ask the Madam Clerk, do we have any slips to be presented?
Yes, we do.
Now, can you call the first person?
Yes. Our first speaker is Mary Axelrod, followed by Ian Morrell.
Axelrod, and I live in the Lake Forest. I'm a resident. And I respectfully ask the council if, according to Government Code 54954.2, if they would answer me briefly on my questions. My first issue is I did go and see some office space on Sunday on Schwartz and El Toro Drive, and where the Hooters was. And I noticed that there was a lot of office buildings that were vacant. And this is kind of a prime area. It's right off the freeway. You can see right over there, and you can see all the businesses. And I was just wondering why that is and for how long they've been out of business.
Okay, continue all your questions first, please.
Continue.
Continue asking.
Okay, number 2 is the Sizzler sign update. I just wanted to know what the Sizzler sign update was. Because I know that it was appealed. I'm not sure what has happened since April about that. I've seen the sign. It looked fine to me, but I don't know if it was approved or if it was denied again. And I did drive by there. I didn't see it up, so I kind of wanted to get an update on that. I've been hearing a lot about the signages being denied recently, and I just wanted to know why that is, too. And the third item I had was I wanted to know if Lake Forest is business friendly or not. And if not, why not?
Okay, you asked three things. What I'm going to do is on your first, I'm going to refer you to staff. The second, yes, the scissor signs are up. They did on their appeal. And on the third, Lake Forest has always been business friendly. You can check with some of our business, even our home offices that has moved in our city. I've opened up about 3 this year, and they have always commented on how business friendly we are. And as far as briefly, that's about 30 seconds, and it's Mayor's choice. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Our next speaker is Ian Morrell, followed by Matt Hawley.
Good evening, City Council. I'm here tonight I was back here in July when the comment period or the notice of publication or preparation for the El Toro lighting and bleacher project was being done. Since that time, the draft environmental impact report has been issued, and we're in public review right now on that. I'm speaking tonight as a proponent for the project, and I realize that the City of Lake Forest does not have any jurisdiction over the school district, but I am up here once again just to emphasize that there is support for this project within the city. Right now, El Toro and Trabuco Hills High Schools are the two largest high schools in the district. 58% of SVUSD high schoolers attend either El Toro or Trabuco Hills. Trabuco Hills is number one with over 3,000 students, and El Toro follows closely behind with almost 2,700 students. Some other statistics, if we look at the sports that do need track and a field, over the past 20 years, the total number of athletes that use the field at those two schools has grown by 134%. In 1991, Trabuco Hills had 860 students participating that needed the field, and right now there are over 2,000 kids that use the field from that school. El Toro has a similar number. They are approaching almost 1,100 students, whereas before they were under 400 students in that same time frame. So we have outgrown the shared use agreement between the two schools, and we really do need those field improvements. Right now there's a lot of kids that have the opportunity in Lake Forest to go to primarily El Toro, but Foothill Ranch is also assigned to Trabuco Hills and some other small areas in Lake Forest. So by allowing the stadium project to move forward at El Toro campus, it will also open up the opportunities at both of the schools to absorb more student population. According to the Davis demographic report that they did for SVUSD back in 2006 as part of the original opportunity study, they're saying that the areas under or covered by the opportunity studies will add approximately 1,900 additional students in the school district. So this is a project that will have a lot of community benefit to the citizens of Lake Forest. Thank you.
Thank you. Just before you call someone, do we have the young lady that spoke first? Do we have her name and number?
Yes.
For the staff? Thanks. And just because I was at Miss and didn't mention it to you, there's a little box when you come up to the podium. When you start speaking, the green light will come on, and when the yellow light come on, you have 1 minute. When the red light comes on, please cease and wrap up. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Matt Hawley, followed by Aaron Keeby.
Hi, I'm Matt Hawley. I'm a mayor and city council. I'm a longtime resident of Lake Forest. I've actually been here the majority of my adult life. I have 3 children that go to schools in Lake Forest. Actually 3 different schools in Lake Forest, so it's kind of like a triumvirate of different schools there. And I support our school district. But I do have to say that I am here to express some concerns over the project that they're proposing at the El Toro High School. They're presenting it as a lighting and bleacher project where really they're wanting to build a stadium there. I understand that we need to have a facility for them to play sports. And the current sharing agreement with Trabuco Hills is definitely strained and needs some relief. I have a student that's in El Toro Band, and I have to track him up to Trabuco Hills High regularly for practices and then bring him home probably about 9:30 at night. It'd be a lot easier on me and him and a lot of other students if they had a place to practice close by. What I would like to state is that they don't need as big a facility as they are projecting or proposing in order to satisfy the majority of what they're asking for. If they did nothing but add lights to that field, they would be able to hold all practices at that field. and just the lights isn't going to cause the traffic and safety problems that we see. If they were to put just a few extra bleachers there, if they sized it about 1,000, 2,000, they'd be able to have games there, but not be able to support the highest population of games or the ceremony. And I understand that the city does not have jurisdiction over the city or over the school, but they do have jurisdiction over the streets around the school, where they are proposing is open season parking for that stadium project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last speaker is Aaron Keeby.
Thank you to the council, the city council, for taking their time. My name is Erin Keeby, and I'm speaking on behalf also of the El Toro Lighting and Bleacher Project, and showing my full support for that as a concerned citizen. My children are not involved in sports in any way or the band. I just feel that this project not only benefits the students, I honestly feel that it helps the community. I've got a son who attends El Toro and a daughter who will attend El Toro next year. And I feel that everything that the city of Lake Forest has already done to approve its aesthetic quality with everything they've done with the arbors, I honestly feel like El Toro High School is just an extension of that area and that entire community improvement. And I feel that that school has come such a long way from its perception of what it may have been 5 or 7 years ago. It's got great teachers, it's got great kids, it's got great athletics. But I just want to make sure we're keeping these families choosing that school. And I know that my counterpart, Ian, had mentioned that there is declining enrollment within our school district, and families are being able to choose where they would like to go. And we want to make sure that they're continuing to choose El Toro. And when you've got 3 out of the 4 high schools in our school district that have a home field, and we've clearly, outgrown whatever we had with Trabuco Hills High School, I just feel like what the DER has put together, the DEIR, they've done a good job in analyzing all the impacts. The benefits of this project really far outweigh those impacts. And I just feel like the school district's really gone above and beyond what they've done, addressing the concerns of the immediate neighbors. And I understand those concerns, but I just feel like it's time now for them to make some improvements at El Toro and give those kids equal access to facilities. For years we've been asked to accept less for that school, and I just feel like the time is now. I fully and completely support that project, and everything that's within the DEIR, I think, answers those concerns. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there any further?
That concludes our public speakers.
Is there anyone that did not have the opportunity to put in a request to speak form that would like to address this on anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none? Madam Clerk?
We are now on number 4, certification of the warrant register. This is submitted by Director of Finance, City Treasurer.
I have no slips. Nobody's pulling anything, but I do have a statement.
Thank you, Mayor. On the warrant register tonight is an item to Irvine Ranch Water District. I'd like to disclose that I'm an employee of Irvine Ranch Water District. I am not affiliated with a rate-making or billing aspect of the agency and have no financial interest in this matter, and having made that disclosure, I will vote on the item. Thank you.
I'd like to move the registry.
And it's been first and second. Is there any opposition? Motion carries. Next.
Item number 5, the waived reading of ordinance and resolution, submitted by the City Clerk. I'm sorry.
Calendar.
Consent calendar, miscellaneous items number 5 through 13.
Do we have any requests to speak?
I've had no requests to speak.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to pull anything off the consent calendar 5 through 13? Otherwise, they will all be voted on in one swoop. Not seeing none, bringing it back to council.
I'd
Anyone?
like to move the consent calendar.
It's been moved. Do I have a second? Any opposition? Consent calendar passed. Next.
Item number 14, agreements to implement OCTA Metrolink Station van program for participating Lake Forest employers submitted by Assistant City Manager.
Is there a presentation on this?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Belmer and Jessica Gonzalez for a short presentation on this matter.
Thank you, members of the council. I'm going to defer to Jessica. She has a brief presentation, and we're available to answer any questions you may
30
have.
seconds.
Thank you. In May, the City Council authorized staff to submit applications on behalf of 3 Lake Forest employers for OCTA station van program. The program allows Lake Forest participating companies to lease station vans to transport their employees from the Irvine Metrolink station to their respective work sites. It is a pilot project funded by Measure M2. As such, only agencies eligible to receive Measure M2 funding would be allowed to submit applications. Consequently, the city submitted applications on behalf of interested employers. It conducted outreach to gauge the transit needs of our employers and proceeded to prepare applications on behalf of Oakley, Invencis, and Panasonic Avionics. OCTA recently informed staff that all 3 Lake Forest applications were approved for funding for a period of 5 years ending in June 2017. Our employers were pleased with the news and were appreciative of the city's facilitation of the program submittals. One of the great advantages of the programs is that it is highly subsidized. OCTA will be paying 90% of the van lease costs, thereby allowing our Lake Forest companies to directly address the transit needs of their employees at a highly reduced cost. Oakley and Invencis have expressed that they would like to commence the program within the next couple months. Panasonic Avionics has indicated that they will not participate this year, given that they do have an existing contract with a third-party shuttle provider. But staff will be checking in with Panasonic next spring to see if they will participate in year 2 of the program. Now, as a facilitator of the station van program, the city would, of course, be reinforcing its commitment to address the growth and expansion needs of our Lake Forest companies. All 3 employers have described the program as a viable hiring and retention tool for their respective companies. Tonight, staff is requesting that the City Council review the required cooperative agreement with OCTA and the required partnership agreements with the participating employers, and that the Council authorize the City Manager to execute these agreements. Staff has worked with the City Attorney's Office to make sure that we have included language clearly indicating the City's role in this program, which is really to serve as a pass-through entity. In this capacity, the City will be paying OCTA the monthly invoices, but will be concurrently receiving reimbursement from the participating employers. Consequently, the expense to the City will be cost neutral. Once again, the program reinforces the City's commitment to addressing the needs of our employers. It assists the employers with their hiring and retention needs. And it, of course, provides a viable transportation resource for Lake Forest employees. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to go to the public first. Back to you. Is there anyone in the public that has not put in a request to speak form that would like to put in a request to speak form addressing this agenda item 14? Seeing none, come back to the council. Councilmember Herzog, you're first.
Thank you very much. I do serve on the OCT Board of Directors representing the 5th District, and this program is within Measure M2 that the citizens approved in 2006, and it became effective 2011. And part of this goes to the need to increase transportation throughout Orange County, and part of that is a multimodal system, which includes rail and other transit methodologies. And one thing that has become apparent, particularly in talking to businesses throughout the county, is this need to sort of cover the last mile or two, if you will, between the various stations and then the businesses themselves. And so that's why the Go Local program, as it's called, was formed. So as a board member, I certainly want to thank staff for taking actually a very proactive approach, because, and I'm sure it was probably Jessica, even though David probably says he's involved too, but we have a very active business visitation program. And it was through that program that the various businesses were advised of this opportunity, even though the city obviously got notification. The businesses were advised, given the background information on the program, and ultimately, obviously, we have the 2 that are going to go forward now. as business expands in Lake Forest, as is occurring daily, I imagine on the continued visitation programs, this is something that also might be of value. This will be an ongoing program as well through OCTA, and so on behalf of the board, we really thank the city for reaching out to these businesses, getting this arranged, and moving forward on setting up another mode of transportation here in Lake Forest. And I'll move the item.
And I'd like to second that.
It's been moved in second. Any further comments? Marcia?
It's my understanding in reading the staff report that only two of our respondents are taking OCTA up on the process. But if at a future time the third one were to want to get into the program, as long as within that 5-year period, they would be able to get involved. Is that an accurate statement?
That is correct. Members of the council, the answer is yes. We have been talking with them. In fact, we have had an expression of interest from even another company in the city that's interested in this program. We know there's going to be an additional call for projects. And so we would work with that company as well. If they couldn't be substituted in for Panasonic, they might be able to go into the second round. Clearly is evidence of the city's attitudes towards businesses and helping them grow and prosper in our community, being business friendly. So we believe that this program serves a number of purposes, and most clearly those who want to participate will find a way to help them do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Further comments?
Call the vote.
Hold on. I do want to throw in one little thing here. Is yes, this helps us with our mobility, and of course that's something that we need. But something that we may have not, that I didn't see in a report, first thing I thought about is how it helps us with our carbs, because that cuts down the car transportation, and that's less carbs. So that helps us with our carbs count too. I'll call for the vote. Is there any opposition? Motion carries. Next is legislation. Is there anything on legislation? Peter? Legislation.
Oh.
This is your format. We know that you're going to filibuster, so
No.
You got something good on here.
Very quick.
Did you check on that one on, is it 30 or 31?
Madam Mayor, are you talking about Proposition 31?
Yeah, Proposition.
Yeah, we're looking at actually all the initiatives,
Yep.
and looking at them as they might affect the city, and we will provide the council with an update as to what we think that it does. 31 particularly is the California Forward initiative, so we're looking at that, and we'll provide you a report later.
Okay. While he's getting his thoughts, well, one thing that you need to be very careful at when you're looking at 31, and I think I've stated it, but just in case you didn't take notes or forgot, is there is a clause in there. It looks real good when you look at it, and when we were in San Diego and they were discussing it, a lot of people said yes, but there was something they had missed. If you remember, those voters of this state voted that the legislators, if they do not balance the budget, they do not get paid. And the financial person did withhold their pay one time. And if you look in there, they got all this stuff in that bill, and that's why you got to read every little page. They have it where the governor can declare it a state of emergency and pay them anyway. And the citizens of this state said no, and they've stuck that in there. So that's something that needs to be looked at, and that's the only reason it did not pass. It first had just about enough votes to pass that they would get league support, and that was pointed out, that little clause. There was a few of us that had read the details, and the devil's in the details, and we found out they're trying to overthrow the vote of the citizens and still pay themselves when they not supposed to. Now, Peter?
Just very quickly, actually there's another provision, it's either page 10 or 11 of the initiative, that actually has some restrictions on city budgeting.
Yes.
And that needs to be, to me, is the most closely watched. And interestingly enough, it's one page out of the entire initiative, and it's buried in the middle. So the beginning and the end might sound good, but take a look at the middle.
It's a bad initiative.
Anyway, just very quickly, staff had asked if we wanted to send in some letters And there's three that I think we should send in letters of support on, and those are SB 965, 1098, and AB 890 that are outlined in the staff report. And on the opposed side, there's two, AB 2298 and AB 2451. So if the council's agreeable?
Madam Members of the Council, that's certainly what staff's intention was, but we did learn today that the governor has signed each of the bills in that report, and they are enrolled. So
Here we go.
A letter probably
Isn't
needed at this point.
So actually, every single one of these was signed?
Yeah, they pushed it through last week.
Oh, yeah, no, I know they'd been approved by the legislature, but now the governor's actually signed them. Well, that's some good news and some bad news.
No further action.
Anyone have anything else?
You can erase that part.
Yes,
No.
Okay.
Since you asked it, the governor also signed AB 340, which was the pension reform, and I would just ask that staff do some, now that it's been signed, some sort of analysis to see how that may or may not impact the city of Lake Forest. So thank you very much.
City manager's report?
I have nothing further this evening, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Herzog, back to you.
More good news on the transportation front. One of the committees I sit on at OCTA is the highways, which basically covers roads in there. And the council, remember, several months ago, we entered into an agreement with OCTA with regards to light synchronization along El Toro Road. That project's been completed, and what OCTA does with these signal synchronization projects is they go back and actually then see how it works. And they actually have a very thorough study of what occurs after, and they do a comparison, and sometimes we actually get videos, and you have the car, and it's, one goes this way under the old, and one goes faster under the new. Anyway, we received a report on Monday regarding the El Toro Road aspect that covered 39 signalized intersections, and the results were pretty dramatic. Basically, the results showed that travel time decreased 24%. The number of stops decreased 41%. And the average speed increased 32%. That's a very dramatic change on the throughput and the actual ability of the road to handle the traffic that's on there. And again, it just kind of shows this city has gone out long before Measure M2 and OCTA came through with the synchronization program and had been working on the lights throughout the city. This just kind of goes to reaffirm with a study done by an outside agency just how effective that kind of signal synchronization project are. And as we continue, we'll continue to see those same kinds of improvements. So thank you very much. And I would like to comment that we had received about 2 meetings ago some comments with regards to some signage. And there were some actual accusations made. And the council did have staff look into it, and we found that the accusations were incorrect. And in fact, what had happened is that when the Home Depot was doing some requested changes, they had also come through with a sign program change. That sign program was provided to the Planning Commission. It never did come to the City Council as was alleged. The City Council never rejected it. It never even got to this body. That sign program was approved exactly as submitted by Home Depot. That sign program has now been instituted. Home Depot, with the one sign that was referenced, did not request that sign be part of their program. Therefore, the only thing that has happened at Home Depot is that the sign program they requested that was approved without change by our Planning Commission has now been implemented. So the concept that there was some sort of ill thought, or I believe the word was vendetta, is completely untrue. As opposed to being a vendetta, it was actually a great collaboration that led to a new sign program that was instituted by a business in this town. So thank you very much. That's all I have.
I'd like to do a PS on that, if you wouldn't mind. Also, due to the fact that they wrote that signage and it was approved, they could have also put in for an amendment to add that sign and then seen if that would pass or not. Thank you. Councilmember Rudolph?
Okay, at the end of the last meeting, three of us on the council went down to San Diego to the annual conference of the League of California Cities. I found it, as usual, inspiring, informative. We had a couple of speakers who were really very good, one of them having to do with putting humor into your discourse with your citizens, and the other had to do with why are you proud of your city. That one I thought would have gone a lot longer than it did, but I think they tried to keep it moving because I think any of us could have gone on for a substantial amount of time with why we were proud of our cities. It was really good. It was kind of, you heard a lot about a lot of cities doing the thing, one or two or three things that they were proud of, and you go, oh yeah, we do that. We've been doing that for 10 years, that kind of thing, as well as getting some ideas of things we could do. It was very, very useful. One of those times when you go and you have a chance to catch your breath out of your usual routine and pick up some ideas and thoughts to bring back home to put into practice here. Also, there was a meeting last week here at City Hall on traffic calming and the Portola Center project. The meeting was excellent. I thought it was well handled. The people, I don't know why there's always at the beginning of meeting, now remember, we're adults and we are not going, I'm going, this is Lake Forest. This isn't, some other kind of raw town someplace. Our people are always extremely thoughtful, polite, and many, many times bring up issues and approaches that I think help our staff to kind of continue on. There will be another, possibly 2 or 3 more meetings on Portola Center and the traffic issues, and I look forward to being to those and seeing how there might be some improvements or some thoughts that were generated by the first meeting. But bravo to staff all the way. Went to the Walmart opening of the addition for Walmart, well attended. I'm going to have to get back over there and do some shopping. I didn't have time to do shopping on the day of that, but I will get back over there. Also, Saturday evening there was an anniversary, city anniversary party at Oakley. The food was awesome. It was Outback. The organization was excellent, particularly in the way that, this couple hundred people were able to access the facilities at Oakley in an organized without feeling organized manner. I got my picture taken with a Wookiee, and Princess Leia was there. We also had an appearance by Frank Sinatra and Marilyn Monroe. The dancing was lovely. The music was excellent. It was really a very enjoyable evening. I did enjoy it altogether. I think Lake Forest has got started correctly, has stayed on track. Our benefits are fully funded. We have money in the bank, and we're doing a lot of projects that we all hoped would happen when we incorporated. I think that we all can sort of pat ourselves on the back and be proud of where we live.
Thank you. Councilmember Tedermer?
Thank you very much. First, thank you to staff and the chamber and the committee for all the great work they did on the 20th event. It was a lot of fun. Had a good time. I'd just like to build on Councilmember Herzog's comments made here at the podium. It's certainly unfortunate when there's comments made that I personally feel are incorrect, and we sort of take the stoic view of it's the public's comment. But I'm always been bothered when comments are left to sit there, because sometimes silence can be construed as somehow an acknowledgement that that is in fact the truth. And as we heard from the council member, that is not the truth, and that was what was stated was incorrect. I don't know why we are in silly season. One can speculate. I would ask the mayor, because I know in the beginning of the public comment you go to great lengths to remind the people that we will not respond, generally speaking. I think we need to revisit that policy. We should encourage staff to be able to respond, because it's not enough that the people here see it. We are now televised. And when those comments are left to sit there, that's how rumors get started, that's how innuendo gets started, that's how misinformation gets started. And I think that's a huge disservice to the community when somebody makes a statement like that, completely unsubstantiated, and it lets sit there, because we have taken this sort of hands-off, we're going to be stoic and let people speak. But it pains me, because I'm not one that likes to let inaccurate statements and accusations sit unresponded to. Thank you.
I would like to respond to you because it's the only chance I'll get to be truthful. If you remember, there's often time that I will refer to staff and ask them or ask the city attorney to respond. But I did speak with the city attorney and our city manager about the definition of brief and how we could fold that brief in. And there are occasions that I have referred to our staff and our city attorney, and they have cleaned up areas of things that do not have, and even when we have a large crowd and they're saying things that aren't true, that we are limited on what we can say, I went to our staff on it. Now, we may need to do it a little more frequently, and you can pass me a note, or you can say, Mayor, can we get on that a little bit more? I'm very open for that. But as far as us as a council, the city attorney has told us it kind of gives him a rash, and all his antennas go up when we get to try to respond to it because of the limitation that is put on us. So referring to them more frequently, or if it's something you feel I should refer to the city manager, the city attorney, or staff, if you would pull my coat or something, or say something, hunch me or something, I'm more than willing to do that at any time. But due to the fact that our city attorney would have to put a stop to make sure that we don't cross over that line, I'm more real comfortable referring to staff or city attorney. So just let me know when you're uncomfortable, because there is times that I have to bite my tongue, and I got things up here that I twiddle with when it's really getting on my nerves, because I know they're way off and it's not accurate. But I did get that cleared up today in my meeting.
May I just briefly?
Sure.
And I appreciate that, and I will do my best to tug on your coat from here.
Yeah, or just push Peter real hard where he bumps up against me.
Yeah, and I'm fully cognizant of the Brown Act and not having a debate go on. Yeah. But when certain words and sometimes incendiary words are used, it'd be different if somebody said, "I have an inquiry. Can somebody please respond?" That's different.
Yeah.
But when somebody uses what I consider to be incendiary or potentially inflammatory language, and throw that out there, that to me is a different matter, and that I'm uncomfortable letting that stuff just sit there.
Just
That's all.
Call
Thank
me.
you.
We'll get it. We'll get a response. And I agree with you 100%. Who am I on? Oh, I'm on Mayor Pro Tem Voice.
Yes, well, thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to state that I, too, attended the California League of Cities down in San Diego, spent 2 days, or 3 days, 2 nights down there, and actually very, very proud of what the convention did to educate the council people throughout the state of California. I serve on the Tax and Rev Committee for the State League, and at our league committee meeting with the Tax and Rev Committee, Governor Brown, the senior advisors and assistants came down to ask the league to endorse his Proposition 30, which would increase taxes on sales tax 3%, giving us over 8% sales tax in the state of California, the highest in the nation, and also increase California personal income tax upwards to 32%. I was extremely proud of the league and the Tax and Rev Committee that they came looking for the league's support and endorsement of Proposition 30. Not only did the Tax and Rev Committee not endorse it, but they actually sent them a loud and clear message to saying that they were going to oppose Proposition 30. After much lobbying after that, during the rest of the convention, the league board came up with a compromise in saying that we were going to take no position on it, but the city council the city council members from all over the state of California, Republican cities, Democratic cities, independents, they came out with a loud and clear to keep your hands off of our money, that our cities, our communities are suffering through what they're going through right now in vacancies through all our strip malls and plazas. So I was extremely proud of that, but I attended 7 breakout sessions, learned a lot. The league is definitely something that helps us as council people become better council people. I attended the traffic information and education here at the City Hall, and I'd like to commend Tom Wheeler and Gail and staff for the traffic consultant that they brought in. He was funny, well-educated, and obviously knew his stuff. And it actually was very calming to the people of Portola Hills to hear him come and say that he was going to be there for them, actually walk in that crosswalk and being out there with them. So you guys did an outstanding job, and everybody that I talked to came around and just thanked me to tell you that they felt so good, that they felt like they were being heard. So I'd like to convey that to all the staff. You guys did an outstanding job in representing us as council members, but more importantly, serving the people of our community. So thank you for that. It was a great time. Attended the 20-year anniversary at Oakley this last weekend on Saturday, and took my wife there, and I was so impressed with the outpouring of people that came, the camaraderie, the fellowship that we had, and the good music and dancing that was going on. It was a great event, something that was really deserving of us as a city for 20 years, and so my hat's off to that. And then I'd like to make a statement. Our Shop and Dine proved what Lake Forest is all about. Not only did 220 businesses come out in 2 different weekends with over 100-degree weather, and face that in the middle of the day until the end of the afternoon. We had over 220 businesses, but probably tens of thousands of people there. It was incredibly turned out. The people were there. They were all in good spirits and loving to be part of it. So like I said before, Lake Forest is not what it is. It's the people that make Lake Forest such a special place. And so I'm so extremely proud to be up here and supporting and representing the people of Lake Forest. So that's all. Final.
Thank you. And Mayor McCullough. Under AB 1234, I'm reporting I did attend the League of California Cities, and I cannot remember how many things that I went to. It was so many, I lost count. All I know is I was up early morning and out very late or until the next morning, maybe an hour or 2 sleep. And I ran to some of everything. I even walked. You had to get cabs and to go to some of the things, but I just walked thing after thing. Fortunately, there were 2 and 3 things in one place. But two of the things that I liked the most about it, 3, the training that we get, sharpening up our skills, learning things on how to help our city and how to even guide and give directions to our staff and help them in, we need you to go this way. So our directions we give will be more accurate and will be on point. The other thing, we get a chance to take and interact with other mayors and councils and other staff all over the state and city managers, because I got quite a few city managers and attorneys that are friends of mine too that are all over the state, and find out what did and did not work in their area that may or may not work, and we can look in another area. But the good things that work, we can look at them and have staff to look at it, bring that information back. The other thing is the vendors. You get a chance to meet the vendors. One of the vendors that impressed me the most was the one from the federal government that was telling me they haven't had any applications from Orange County, and they have land and buildings to give away to the cities, not individual, but to the cities. I said, call me personally. I'm telling my staff we will be contacting you. So I have their information. I'll be passing that on to our staff. There may be things that we didn't even know that was available to us. And the guy said, I'll work with you personally, and hopefully we can get some others. I also, by being on several Orange County boards, I'm letting them know that, because we want what's in Lake Forest, but there are some other all over our county, so I'll be letting the different county committees know too. It's a wonderful time to get educated and trained and things that are pending. I was very glad with the vote and the support where all the mayors and councils that was voting, that they voted in a manner that was beneficial, and everyone is sick of the taking, and they did not give the governor any leeway. One of the things that I purposely checked on with the vendors was the signal countdown lights, and I would like for my colleagues to give me a consent that we can bring back something where we can vote to look into our signal countdown lights in our busier area. I too attended Patola Hill Parkway traffic study, and the guy was good and highly respected in the field of traffic study. And the thing is, they have three lights up there, and on those 3 lights that they have in this area that has been designated by the citizens as a problem, they are a walking community. And down here in the El Toro Road, we've done a lot of things, but it's also a very highly walkable community. And in checking with the traffic and with some of the people that do the lights that were vendors there, it has been proven, and I don't have the statistics, but we can get that if we can bring it back so that we can look at it. It has been proven, and I have observed myself from the 2 that we have here in our city, down in the El Toro area on Los Alisos and Merlin's, and also on El Toro Road, that when people have the numbers count down, most motorists, 99% of them, will not enter the safety zone and intimidate and threaten and blow and curse at the pedestrians. But when they have the hand, they will try to rush them and almost hit them. So that's something I would like a consensus vote on. I got 1 yes to bring it back so we can look into it more to get more countdown.
So it's just to talk about...
To talk about putting it, not all over, just in our points, so staff can identify the ones. We know those 3 up there need a countdown for them. If you ever try to go across the street up there, it is scary. But also in our areas where the streets are real busy and it's a lot of walking to get from this side to this side, we can look and see which ones that we can and cannot. And those lights are, when you already have, I'm not talking about putting in new, just adding the countdown number to it is very inexpensive. You can look back in our records and see how much we paid for those 2 that we have in place now. And so I have, Madam Clerk, we have a consensus. There was 3. Okay. Mental health, they had their workshop this time. They'll have our meeting. We still have money. The San Clemente project and the Costa Mesa, they pulled out because they couldn't get it down to a third. And in mental health, in order to help on a project, it cannot put in more than a third of the money. The Senior Citizen Advisory Council, Housing and Transportation. They had a very good presentation from the housing, some information, and I have some of the information to pass off to our staff. I also attended the trauma intervention program this morning. That information I'll pass off too. It's time for the Heroes of Heart. I have some that you may want to attend. And our 20-year anniversary, I see my red light, but I cannot stop when our staff done such an excellent job. Ron, he gets good music. He gets just the right band and entertainment. And the place, from what I understand, Mary from the chamber was responsible for that. And Gary, of course, probably all the food and everything else. It was excellent. The food and everything was good, but the people were good. And if you've ever been to Oakley, it speaks for itself. You just can't say enough about them. And even the valet, everything was wonderful. If you weren't there, I'm sorry you missed it, but maybe you can see the video. It was wonderful. And the thing I liked the most was the dancing. We were able to dance and dance and dance and dance the night away. In fact, I heard that Gary had to muster them out of there. I left before the very end, and he had to muster them out. They had to get out, but it was excellent. And I won't call the names of all the ones that danced, but some of them said they couldn't dance, but the music took and made you get up out your seat, and everybody was dancing. Just look at where I'm pointing. Everybody was dancing and having fun, putting aside everything and dancing. That was the most enjoyable thing, to see the personalities of the people set aside their personalities and just get out there and have good old-fashioned clean fun. And our supervisor was there, and the water district was there, all the different people. And I'm here to tell you, I didn't see anyone that did not have fun, and I could hardly get out the door when I was ready to leave, because people were saying, we must have this more often. I said, I'm not in charge. But it was excellent. And to staff and everyone that was involved, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I'd have, Bob Dunning?
Madam Mayor, just a request for clarification on the one item that the council wishes to have on the agenda. It's about either timing or content. If your expectation was that we would have an item on the very next agenda, we'd simply put that by title of the brief report, asking the council to give us further direction. Otherwise, it would take a lot longer.
Yeah. No.
So your expectation is that. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm clear as to what council's expectation is.
Yes.
Right, thanks.
Yes. Anything else? Then I'll entertain a motion. It's been first and second, and everybody has agreed. You can leave.